I am delighted to be here this afternoon on the request of the school manager. I did not hesitate one moment when this invitation was extended to me, as I knew that I will be in Ba, and it's just a matter of playing around with my schedule, and I should be able to fit in this visit as well. So I'm really delighted to meet all of you.
Thank you, madam.
It has been a very tough year for all of us, and more tough for our students, particularly year 12 and 13. For last 2 years, you've been facing this dilemma, this confusion, this uncertainty about your future. Last year was slightly better because the schools were not closed for this long. You were able to get back to school and sit for your exam and move on. But this year has been the worst year. None of us ever imagined that our economy will suffer so much with the Delta virus, and the fact that the Delta virus entered our community, and at one time it appeared as if we won't be able to control this community transmission. But again, the bold decision made by the government with the Honorable Prime Minister and the Cabinet made sure that we gradually come out of this situation, and the only way out for us at that stage was vaccination. We did not hesitate one moment to encourage everyone to take vaccines. And I'm very, very thankful to our teachers, students, parents, guardians, ancillary staff. All of you have taken the first jab, some of you have taken the second jab, and I'm sure some of you may have taken the booster shot. So that's really good. If it was not because of vaccination, believe me, I wouldn't be standing in front of you. You wouldn't be sitting in this classroom. But it's because of the vaccination. There was a national drive towards this, and people came on board, and through this collective decision and action, we managed to get our population fully vaccinated, and today the percentage is around 94% and above. And we set the record internationally as well. If you start thinking of many developed countries who are still behind in vaccination. For us to get vaccinated, we are very grateful to the Government of Australia, Government of New Zealand, Government of India for coming on board, and of course Government of USA that came on board to assist us. And on one hand, we can have as much vaccines we want, but if there are no takers, then the vaccines could have been wasted. But because of our people who came on board and said, yes, we are part of it, we'll get it done, so the borders have opened. Ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday and Monday, I was in Momi, and it was such a pleasure just walking around the hotel that you hear the Australian accent, and these were our tourists. You can hear the carols being sung in our Itoke language. The music were going on, the Christmas lights were all up, and it appeared as if we never faced such a mammoth challenge in our life. I dread to think how our people survived in the last 6.5 months. The airport taxis were all parked on the side, no takers for that. You know, all our village community who normally go and sing at the hotel or dance at the hotel or even sell their handicraft at the hotel, they had to put their tools down. There were no takers for that either. And similarly, we had our workers who used to get up in the morning just wondering, what am I going to do next? But all this is over now with the opening of the borders. And that led to the opening of the shops, And today we feel quite normal, except it's a bit abnormal to wear the mask. As I stand here and I look at you, it's strange. It is strange, but that's the reality of life. And I don't think we can discard our mask soon, as Ministry of Health guideline is still in place, and therefore we must continue wearing our mask. Coming back to the school, ladies and gentlemen, I'm told that in year 2022, that is next year, the school will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. Which simply means that 50 years ago, there were a group of people, our elders, who made the decision that we need to build a school for our children. And from there onwards, by adding one classroom at a time, we have reached to this stage. Normally, the schools around Fiji is run by community-based organization or faith-based organization. We also have government-run schools too, but majority are community and faith-based. It simply means that our community contributed to the education sector, and today the government is contributing equally to the betterment of the schools. I recall the days when the schools had to do a lot of fundraising. Even the school management used to have various fundraising activities. Communities had to empty their pocket, put their money in the bowl, and then the activities could be completed. But today, the government is providing free education grant that takes care of a lot of things. At the end of the day, the school belongs to the community, which is managed by the school management committee. That's the reality. But the government decided that we're going to ease the financial burden for the community as well as for the parents. So we have got this, as you all know, free tuition, bus fare assistance is there, textbooks assistance is there, TELS is there, Topper scheme is there for our children. And in the last budget, if you have listened carefully, there are 5,000 fully funded TVET places for our students. And that is going to cost the government around $31 million for these 5,000 places. On top of that, $1 million have been set aside to reskill workers, because workers have been staying home for 6.5 months. So they need to be reskilled and sent back to the workforce. So $1 million was set aside for that. And for the first time, the government introduced this $100 subsistence allowance for any child who decides to take TVET courses, and particularly when they go out on practicum, on attachment. We have seen that normally students complete their studies, but when it comes to attachment, they don't have money to complete that. So they don't graduate, and at the end of the day, we wasted the money. So this $100 was added on just to ensure that the students graduate. For the students, my advice to you would be, and this is a very frank opinion of mine, and it's about me and my opinion. I just want to clarify this. Normally we have this big dream that when we finish off from the school, we have to become a lawyer, we have to become a doctor or a nurse or a teacher, you know, all these so-called white-collar jobs. In fact, we are not looking carefully to TVET courses. TVET courses can make you millionaires. Literally, can make you millionaires. Most of us are earning our living, but when you think of some big companies like 4R Electricals, I mean from Ba, then you talk about Fortec, Ragon Construction, you can talk about Lincoln Refrigeration, Mechanical Services. Who are these people? They went through direct technical, in those days. And then later on, the newer generation went to FIT, and now the current generation will be going to FNU to study TVET courses. So TVET courses is not like something that will earn or you will make less money. In fact, you will be your own boss, you can be the job creator, you can employ more people in your firm as you gain that experience. So do not rule out taking up TVET courses. In fact, in this day and age, we need more technical people. And the latest statistics from Ministry of Immigration or Department of Immigration shows that about 36% of people come from abroad to work in this technical area. That means there is shortage of workers in this area. But if you are thinking of becoming a teacher, then perhaps do contact Ministry of Education. We will tell you the area where there is shortage. But today I can reveal to you that we do have shortage of teachers in the area of maths and physics, industrial arts. We have shortage of teachers in primary education. We have shortage of teachers in special and inclusive education. So these are some of the areas, plus ECE. ECE is such an important sector that we need to look at it very carefully. That sets the foundation for our children. We cannot treat ECE as a sector where you don't have a job, so you open up one kindi and you run that kindi. It has to be more than that. So let me tell you some of the changes we are going to bring about in the education system, particularly the curriculum. For ECE sector, UNICEF came on board to help Ministry of Education to look at the ECE curriculum. We are developing the new ECE standards and we are developing the new ECE policy, and that will guide the ECE sector. Now you must be wondering, so what happens? We don't have enough teachers in ECE. You are absolutely right, but to come up with a lot more teachers qualifying in that area, we have made some scholarships available for anyone who wants to study ECE and wants to become an ECE teacher. Then another major change that we are working on as we speak is the introduction of civics and moral education. Civics and moral education has not been taught the way it should be taught. It is taught with chalk and talk, but not with a behavioral change. Again, in our society, we are losing some of the values that we had. It is sad to see. In Suva, you may have heard there were brawls happening at housing estates. And who were these people? They were young youths from school or from universities who were fighting on the street. And that's a reflection that perhaps we have not taught our children the values that they need to have when they come out of school so that they fit into society and contribute to the community development. So that has not happened. And for the civics and morals, the idea is that from ECE to year 3, we should have 50% of the time focusing on civics and moral, the other 50% on numeracy and literacy. That's it. And I'm also considering whether it's not confirmed, but the thinking is around it, that whether our small ones, like from ECE to year 3, should they be sitting for an exam? What are we trying to tell our younger generation? Should they be sitting for an exam, or should we remove exam from ECE to year 3? This is something that we are considering, but nothing, we have not firmed up on that idea. Then for the years, for year 12 and 13, like yourselves, we will be introducing life skills. In other words, when you come out of colleges or from schools, you should have a very high level of confidence. How to give an interview, how to prepare your CV. If you want driving license, what is it all about? If you get into trouble and then you need some assistance through legal aid, how does that work? More on financial literacy, on social etiquettes, including social media etiquettes, so that you fit into an adult as you move from a child into an adult, as per the definition that we have. But today I want to talk to the students and say to you that we do understand the situation you are in, and it's very hard to fathom that you had to face so much of disruption. And it's worse when you are at home for 6.5 months and you have to learn remotely something that you had never done. But I know in this day and age, our students are very intelligent, they're very smart, they're born with technology, and they live on internet. And I'm sure you may have found your little ways of keeping your learning going, but at the same time the teachers were there to support you through the worksheets and other remote learning methods that they had opted for. But even that may not have been enough, but the fact that you are back in classroom, I hope that you've been having this interactive session with your teachers, trying to clarify some of the difficult concepts and trying to work within the team to forge ahead with those concepts. And please continue your studies. Just make it do or die situation. Focus on it, revise your past year's exam papers, there will be nothing different. The curriculum has been scaled down, but that's one way of preparing, and I'm sure your teachers are already preparing you for the exams. So don't feel left out. If you have any problems whatsoever, do not hesitate to contact the head of school or your teachers. Please do that. And sometimes it may be hard to discuss things with your parents. A lot of students have a lot more faith in their teachers, so please use that opportunity. It's never the end of everything. If there are other options also available for you, we did consider your plight and we had shifted the exam by 2 weeks. But unfortunately, there is no such thing as that you cannot sit for the exam. If I had that power within the policies that I'm working, I would have said, okay, no exam, but that is not possible because you are moving into the next level, going into tertiary education, so you have to sit for the exam. I also like to take this opportunity to thank the teachers. This morning when I started my day, my first stop was at St. Thomas Primary School, and it was such a pleasure to meet over 30 teachers working with the Ministry of Health team in the vaccination program. I call my teachers COVID warriors. You are the COVID warriors. Often we acknowledge the frontliners, which they deserve to be acknowledged, but you all have been silently working behind the scene, and the teachers must be acknowledged as well. There are a number of teachers who have been managing the isolation centers that I'm aware of. They have been managing the vaccination center. They are involved in the data verification. Also, teachers have been involved in contact tracing. Some teachers were busy raising awareness on COVID initially when there was an outbreak. So teachers have been working around a number of other areas which is really not in their job description. It clearly shows that when the nation needs you, you are the first group of civil servants who put your hand up and you are there to assist the country to come out of this COVID-19. So I thank you most sincerely for all your assistance. And finally, let me just talk about the School Management Committee. I pay my tribute and my deepest respect to the past and present School Management Committee for their perseverance, for their dedication, for their foresight in keeping the school in a operational manner, and creating that ambience within the school so that our children can learn in this classroom environment. The School Management Committee previously had to struggle, as I mentioned earlier on, but today it's just a matter of using the funds appropriately that is made available to the School Management Committee. We have to audit each and every cent that we give out to the schools, and that is audited by the Auditor General's Office, and part of the report that the Auditor General's Office comes up with, it is presented in the Parliament. So we do have layers of scrutiny to make sure that the funds are utilized in the right manner. But having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to wish you all very best. I want to wish you Merry Christmas and a very prosperous 2022. Vinaka, thank you very much.